mini skirt on, dip my body in glitter. Platform sneakers, all the boys want a picture. Foreign cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya.
My name is Samala Ali Cronin, and I am a bachelor and Wapabara woman from Gari and the Keppel Islands in Queensland, and I'm a cultural professional and First Nations advocate. I also am a fashion designer and a published author.
My name is Marley Morgan. I'm a proud Gamilaroi and Wiradjuri woman. I'm a photographer, and I also run a mentoring program called Shadow Sisters. I'm an advocate for inclusivity and equality within the fashion industry, and I'm a mum of 3 beautiful boys.
Somali, how do you think our concepts of wealth and prosperity can be incorporated mainstream? The things that we've been talking about today, our markers of success and our markers of wealth and prosperity. How do you think we introduce that mainstream?
It's a really interesting question. So just going back to like what we were talking about around like success.
I think that we have actually influenced greatly on Australian society holistically with our markers of success and prosperity. For us, it is very holistic.
Yeah.
So if we are raising happy, healthy babies and they have a roof over their head and they've got full bellies when they go to bed and, you know, they have somewhere safe to play, all connection to country, all of these things, they're very holistic for us.
Yeah.
And that's a shared value base that we have with every other human being, because you could ask anybody, do you believe that people are entitled to a safe place to sleep at night?
Exactly right.
Do you believe that people are entitled to a full belly? Do you believe that people are entitled to safety? Do you believe that people have the right to access equal and equitable healthcare? All of these things are holistic values that no matter whether you're First Nations, non-Indigenous, or anything in between, it's a human right to have those things.
Absolutely, sis.
Yeah.
I agree.
So where we have actually influenced the Australian society is with access to healthcare. So the Aboriginal Medical Service in Redfern, a lot of people don't know this. It was actually formed in 1971, which is prior to the development of Medicare.
Right.
And it was the very first of its kind in this country where you had access to free and equitable healthcare. And the policies from the AMS being established were used to inform the policies that created Medicare.
I did not know any of that. Isn't that incredible?
And isn't it amazing that the way we look after each other was taken and influenced to create a policy that created one of the most equitable and accessible medical systems in the world?
That's incredible. I didn't know that at all, and I don't think many people actually do.
I think you're right there, and I think it is testament to the holistic values that we have as a people.
Absolutely.
And we've said this today, if I'm doing deadly and you're not doing deadly, then I'm not doing that deadly.
Yeah, that's so true, sis. Like as I see it too, like we spoke about earlier, you know, if one of us is doing well, that means the rest of us are doing well, because we as blackfellas, like we are sharing people. We give what we have, and we also, you know, back in the day made many trades, like no one went without.
That's right, because there's an obligation. Now, I'm going to quote my mum again. She's deadly. But she's always said that you've got no right to call yourself a blackfella if you don't look after the people around you. You know, it's a cultural obligation. It's something that defines us as a people. So if you don't look after the mob around you, well, then you're taking a part of your identity away.
Exactly right. I agree.
Yeah.
And I do think, you know, if the country did actually, you know, have that kind of approach of making sure everyone's looked after, can make a world of change.
Definitely. Because we internationally, we say that we are the most multicultural nation on the planet. And we have an international reputation of being, you know, this place of a fair go.
Yeah, well, sis, we just have to look at the cost of living at the moment and the high rates of homelessness. Like, I don't think that's very equal or fair. We're not looking after our most vulnerable.
No, we are operating under a feudalistic, capitalistic society that is actually really looking after its values and interests around landlordism.
Yeah,
And that comes from our colonial
it's great.
forefathers, or their colonial forefathers, not ours.
No, and I think, yeah, it truly does come down to greed. And, you know, we as blackfellas, as we spoke about before, we're not greedy people. I think that's one thing that this country and our government could really take from us, is making sure that everyone's looked after, especially our most vulnerable.
Yeah. And for us, our most vulnerable doesn't also, like within our First Nations people, it's our country. Our country is
Absolutely, sis.
vulnerable.
If country's sick, we're sick.
That's right. And if we can't heal our country, we can't heal ourselves.
Exactly right.
Mini skirt on, take my body in glitter. Black platform sneakers, all the boys want a picture.